8:49 here on Mornings with Dana and Muggs. There is a tremendous need for foster parents in Massachusetts, as I said a few moments ago. If you ever considered being a foster parent, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Well, we have a couple of women in the studio today who can answer those questions. No stranger to the program, of course. Jennifer Hernandez is here at Plummer Foster Care. Welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, great to be here.
And Jennifer has brought with her Nicole McLaughlin, and she is the Director of Strategy and Advancement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
At Plummer, and you're going to be talking about this event that's going to be happening this summer, if summer ever gets here.
Hear the optimism?
Yeah, that's right. Paddle for Plummer. We'll be talking about that in a minute. But before you do that, the last time that we had you on, people actually spoke to me about the interview because they really were curious about becoming foster parents. How many foster children are there in Massachusetts right now?
Approximately 5,500 foster children right now. And Plummer Foster Care, we get calls almost every day by our referring agency, the Department of Children and Families, saying that they need a home for children of all ages. And so we are really actively recruiting more families for those kids because we are really at this point not able to meet the large need.
I think a lot of people are under the impression that in order to be able to have a foster child in their home, there has to be two parents in the home, that there may be other children in the home. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. That's not true, is it? I mean,
not true at all. There are a lot of myths out there, and we encourage people to call to ask, but you don't have to be married. You don't have to be two parents. You can be working. You don't have to own your own homes. Don't have to be rich. Really what we're looking for, you have to have a space in your house and a space in your heart and, have a patience and a sense of humor to parent these kids. Again, we need more families.
Well, money is concerned, I'm sure. I mean, a lot of people out there certainly have got it in their heart to take in a child, but understand just how expensive it can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so how can you help them with that?
So we do provide a daily stipend for families. They receive a quarterly clothing allowance to help them with that type of those types of clothing needs for youth, and also their medical needs are taken care of as well.
Can I ask you how much? I mean, can I literally?
Yeah, it's $56.59 per day.
$56.59 a day. Okay.
Really? You're going to break them down, right?
And that includes that does not include the clothing allowance.
That does not include the clothing allowance, and there's a holiday allowance and a birthday allowance. And also, what I love about working for Plummer is, Nicole works really hard, and people in looking for grants, looking for donors, so that when families need extras for their kids, a special class, a summer camp opportunity, sometimes we can go to those donors and get that so that these kids can have, those special things that they need and deserve.
Nicole, can you speak to that exactly about where you find these donors and the kinds of what you use the money for, I guess, the kinds of things you use the money for?
Sure. Donors come from all over the place, but mostly really here on the North Shore and in the Merrimack Valley. People who have gotten to know us and know the work that we do, and who are really interested in taking care of kids. I mean, everybody that I talk to wants children to do well and recognizes that that's more than just having a roof over their head, and it's more than food, that there are all kinds of things that people try to do for their own kids, and they want other kids to have those things too.
Geez, D-Man, did you have this story yesterday, or was it the day before, about the child? There was a young man, I believe, right?
You guys have heard the story that what he did was he opened up a lemonade stand.
A lemonade stand.
Because this is a child adoption is what this was, but I believe that this family, it was a foster child in this family, and they were working toward adopting this child, but they had found that it was so expensive to adopt the child. And the child, when he heard that, it was hard for them to get the money together.
He took initiative.
So he took initiative, and he put, isn't this?
It's an amazing story.
It's a heartwarming story.
Really incredible.
But what's the better part of the story is the kid took a lemonade stand out there. He was 9 years old, and he set up a lemonade stand to try and, get some money for his adoption. When people found out about it, I think they're up to about $14,000 now that was contributed. Isn't that wonderful?
Story. Yeah, that's a wonderful story.
So, and any money that is left over and above what it costs to adopt, it's going to be put into an education account for him, an education trust for him. So, I guess what Muggs is alluding to, I mentioned on the air that I had no idea that it was that expensive to adopt a child, thinking that there are so many children in need of either foster care, adoption, one manner of care or another, that it would be easier. But it's not necessarily that easy, is it?
You know, I actually, when you do adopt through the state, when you adopt a kid in foster care, there is no cost to the family, except for it's expensive to parent a child in general.
This was not in this state.
So in the state of Massachusetts. And so some of our foster parents, you know, it is always our goal that kids return home to their birth families. But if that cannot happen, we want to find a permanent family, and sometimes our foster families end up adopting the kids in their home. We had a family, a single woman adopt three kids in her care.
Wow.
And she didn't have to pay anything. She actually receives a stipend. So
right.
And you have training as well, right? If someone's out there listening, you do provide training?
Yes, and actually our next training we're having in the North Shore in Danvers, starting in June. And we have an information session about that on May 10th at the Plummer Home for Boys in Salem. And so just check out our website for more information. It's from 6 to 7 at night. And our website is plummerhome.org.
Okay. You just, if I understand what you just said exactly, that your primary goal is probably to reunite these children with their birth parents.
Yes.
If that is at all possible, who just have a temporary circumstance where they need some help and with taking care of the child, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
So, I mean, there are some children that are in need of adoption if that's not possible.
Correct.
In order to bring their children.
But there are a lot of temporary scenarios, if you will.
Yeah, the majority of kids thankfully, are able to return home when the families get the support that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of training do you offer? I mean, I know you do training, but what would that? Give me an example of training somebody to be a foster parent.
So it's called MAP, which is Massachusetts Approach to Partnership in Parenting. It's a training that everybody in the state of Massachusetts, if you want to become a foster parent, no matter if you're a Plummer parent or another agency, has to take. It's a 30-hour training, so it's pretty intense. But what we find is that people at the end go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize there was so much to know. I've been a parent and I thought I knew this, but this is a lot of new information. We talk about how kids come into care. We talk about trauma and what that means to a child. We talk about some alternative behavior management techniques that you might use with a youth that has a trauma history, and also how to navigate the system and all the people, the social workers and lawyers that, would be new to a family's life, and just kind of trying to understand who all those people are.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Plummer, along the way, also continues to provide you with technical support, or would that be,
we have a 24/7 on-call service that they can call us anytime, that all the workers take turns, licensed clinicians take turns in supporting families in that way. We also have some of our more experienced foster families, reaching out to the newer ones to provide support, and a monthly support group. And we just started an online Facebook support group for our families also, since that seems to be the way people connect. So,
excellent. Let's talk about this event, Nicole. It's happening in July, right?
It is.
Okay. What day in July?
It is Saturday, July 16th. Hopefully a bright, sunny day.
Yeah, like it is today out there, a little warmer.
Yeah.
Paddle for Plummer, it's called, right?
That's right.
All right. Explain that, if you would, please.
So Paddle for Plummer. Plummer Home is on some great waterfront property in Salem, and a lot of people have never been down there. And this fundraiser is an opportunity to come down and enjoy that property and try out paddleboarding, stand-up paddleboarding, which is growing in popularity up on really on the whole coast over here, and have a great time. There's music, there's food, there are races, there are people out there who've never paddled before, and it all.
I have one. I do. I have one on the lake. Never been on it.
You've never been on it?
Never been on it. No. I have one on the lake. Never. Because the learning curve just seems to be a little not only painful but embarrassing.
No.
It makes for a nice prop. It looks nice.
Yeah, I've got it hung up on the side of the house. It does. People go by and say, "Oh, there's a paddleboard."
Wow.
Never been on it. No, absolutely not. But the kids do. The kids come down and they take it off and they're having
You should
fun.
try it July 16th.
Yeah.
Paddle for Plummer, huh?
I know, my knees hurt just thinking about trying the thing. But anyway, there's going to be a lot of professional athletes there, aren't there? Or professional paddleboarders?
Yeah, so it really, the paddling that happens at this event is for people of all levels. And so we have a 6-mile event that runs from Salem all the way up to Manchester and back.
6 miles on a paddleboard?
6 miles on a paddleboard. And that, for the past 2 years, has gotten around 20 racers from all around the country.
No kidding.
And they finish that 6 miles in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have a fun course. We call it the fun paddle. And you can paddle for a half a mile or a mile, standing on your knees, on your bottom, lying down, however you want to. And that gets about 100 people. And
on your stomach? I'd be pretty good at that.
like a surfboard.
Yeah, exactly.
And that event is just loaded with laughter and people having a good time.
Good. So this is an entire day of fun in the sun there?
Well, it starts actually at about 6:30 in the morning with sunrise yoga on land and in the water.
Wow.
Then the spin bikes get started at 7:30. All the paddling starts at around 8:30, and around 11 o'clock, a beanbag tournament will start. For those people who have no interest in the fitness piece, we've added,
Just want to throw some
added a
beanbags around?
beanbag tournament.
Well, now you're talking.
And then
Any hot dogs?
Yeah, I'll be looking for the beanbags and the hot dogs.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then it ends at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Now, I'm presuming because this is a fundraiser that you can buy tickets to this. Is that the idea?
Well, yeah. So for the paddling events, which is really kind of the main focus, you pay $25 to register, and then you have to raise $175.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. There you
And
go.
then for yoga, it's $30. For the beanbag tournament, it's $30.
Right.
And,
Well, certainly it couldn't go to a better cause, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And again, a lot of this money is for things that just come up, right, for these foster children?
That's right.
Is that the idea?
That's right. So Plummer Foster Care is one program of the Plummer Home. Plummer Home has, we serve about 200 young people across the North Shore each year, and there are all kinds of things that we use this money to pay for. So
That's great.
in the context of foster care camp and extra clinical support and anything that isn't covered by state funds.
Well, write that one down, folks. July 16th. It starts at 6:30 with yoga on the beach there. So at 6:30 in the morning, July 16th at 37 Winter Island Road, right?
Correct.
In Salem.
Beautiful spot.
Beautiful spot at Plummer Foster Care. I thank you once again for coming on the program here. I learn something every time you come on the program here. And again, this event certainly is for a great cause. And if anybody out there is interested in becoming a foster parent, who do they contact?
They contact me, Jennifer Knapp-Hernandez, and best way to reach me, you could call at 978-935-9555, or just go on our website, plummerhome.org, and has all the information. And our information session is May 10th at the house on 37 Winter Island Road from 6 to 7. Just
Anybody can show up.
Anybody can show up and get more information.
What time is that on May 10th?
6 to 7 p.m.
Okay, on May 10th, if you want to just come and get general information or give you a call, and you'll give them a lot of information.
Exactly.
Certainly answer their questions. Jennifer Hernandez of Plummer Foster Care has been with us. Also, Nicole McLaughlin, talking about this great event that's coming in, Paddle for Plummer. That's happening on the 16th of July. So write that down and keep it by your phone and keep listening. We'll probably be talking about it when we get closer to July, that's for sure. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you
so much.
This is Mornings with Dana and Muggs here on North Shore 104.9.
The station the North Shore and Merrimack Valley turn to for good time favorites around the clock. North Shore 104.9.